Today, I'll be going over 5 essential tips that every pilot must do in order to improve their soft field approach and landing. Watch to the end because you don't want to miss tip number 5. What's the purpose of making these soft field landings? One of the main things we want to accomplish when we're making the soft field landing is to transfer the weight of the aircraft from the wings to the landing gear. We want to do this as smoothly as possible, and we want to keep the nose gear off the runway for as long as possible during most of the landing rollout. Tip number 1, complete your before landing checklist. You want to ensure that before landing checklist is complete. You also want to be looking at that runway, and you want to clear the runway. So you're looking outside and you're making sure that nothing on the runway, no other aircraft, no other obstructions, especially animals, right? Landing on a soft field, there might be some deer peeking through the bushes. So you just want to make sure the runway area is clear. And on that latter part of your downwind leg, we're going to extend about a third of your flaps and then put about 2/3 in on the base leg while we're gradually reducing our airspeed. And while we're doing this, it's also important to add some trim in there so we can relieve some of the control pressure. Tip number 2, the approach path. Unless there's obstacles on your approach path, you're going to make a regular approach to landing. If there are obstacles on your approach path, go ahead, check out this video right here to learn how to do short field landings. If there are no obstacles on your approach path, maintain the same descent angle on final as you would a normal approach. Maintain the recommended approach speed and extend your remaining flaps. Here's one thing you need to consider when you're using flaps. Yes, flaps are going to help you slow down to a minimum speed that's going to be perfect for landing. But let's just say you're in a low wing aircraft. Going full flaps on a soft field approach, once you touch down, you could suffer some damage to the flaps. Rocks, little pebbles and stuff like that, dirt, mud, all sorts of stuff could get kicked up onto the flaps. Use your best judgment as to whether or not you should extend full flaps or not. Tip number 3, the most important tip of them all. That's right. It's the fact that you are not subscribed to the channel. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button, turn on your post notifications, and select all so I can continue to bring you this great aviation content. The majority of you who watch my videos aren't subscribed to the channel. So go ahead, subscribe to the channel. And while you're subscribing, download my free ebook located in the link in the description below. Tip number 3, the landing. So when we get down over the runway, a couple feet above the runway, we're going to hold the airplane just above the runway surface for as long as possible as we bleed off the airspeed. In this phase of flight, we're going to maintain our attitude with the power, slowly continue our descent until the aircraft touches down on the runway at the slowest speed possible, all while still being at a nose high attitude. Tip number 4, the touchdown. Maintain back pressure on the yoke to hold the nose wheel off the surface of the runway for as long as you possibly can. As your airspeed is decreasing on the rollout, you want to smoothly and gently lower the nose wheel back to the surface of the runway. Pro tip here, you can add a little bit of power on this touchdown and it will help you ease the nose wheel down and keep it under control. Tip number 5, the application of power on touchdown. Once you touch down, you can increase the power slightly to keep the aircraft moving and to prevent it from stopping suddenly, just in case you hit a mud spot or just a really soft spot on the runway. You also want to avoid using the brakes. Applying the brakes could possibly cause that nose wheel to dig into the surface of the runway, which only bad things can happen from there. Don't worry about applying the brakes entirely too much because that soft surface, whether it be grass or dirt, should provide some braking action for you. You shouldn't have to be heavy on the brakes when you're making a soft field landing. Allow the surface to do work for you and help you slow the airplane down on your ground roll. Remember, keep studying, keep practicing. This is definitely a skill that you're going to have to keep doing over and over and over in order for it to become good and solid. Remember, let's not beat ourselves up for bad landings. All right, it's all a good learning experience as long as you take something from it and apply it to the next time that you do it. And go ahead and click on this video right here for more aviation content.